Hi, this is Apostle Dr. Jewel Williams here with our Wisdom Moment. And I want to talk to you this week about what I'm going to be calling It's Time to Grow Up. I'm reading from 1 Corinthians 13:11, the NIV version. And it says, "When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me." And so I was preaching this past Sunday, and I was talking about maturing in prayer. And I felt led to just kind of go a little deeper into this. So this week, I'm going to be talking about growing up. So I'm going to break this scripture down into pieces. So the first of all, he says, when I was a child. When you and I first came to Christ, we were instructed and encouraged to come childlike, right? And there was a limit in our ability to reason because our range of understanding was limited, and that was okay. How we understood, how we responded, all of those things were still childlike. Why? Because they were still steeped in who we were before Christ. Before you came to Christ, it had nothing to do with your age. It had to do with your level of maturity and understanding. So you were childlike when you came to him. In fact, you want to stay childlike in the sense of coming to him and being open. But there is a requirement for us to start to mature, because you came to Christ a certain way. That doesn't mean you're to stay that way. So I want to talk about that for a minute. So it was like when I was a child, when you first came, you came as a child. But now there's a responsibility that you have, there's a responsibility I have, that we have to grow up, that we have to move away from wanting to be only on milk. That's another scripture that talks about you're still on milk, you should be on meat. Sometimes we have believed or assumed, or sometimes we've been taught that almost like God is this. I want to be careful here, because it's not that God is not gracious. It's not that God is this hard taskmaster. At the same time, God does have an expectancy, or an expectation rather, of us, meaning that we should grow up, that we should mature, that we should do our work to work out our own soul salvation, that I should partner with God's Spirit to want to grow up. I should read my word. I should pray. I should seek him. I should seek to understand the word. And so it's time for us to make sure, it's kind of like doing an inventory check. Where are you in your walk with God? Are you still at that childlike infancy stage? Or have you grown? You've been saved 5 years. Can you look back over those 5 years, and do you appear, even to yourself, do you see where some habits have changed? Are you still getting triggered about the same thing? Are you still getting angry at the same things? Do your language, do the things that you do, have they shifted at all? They should have, because there's some maturity that should happen. And so this scripture says, when I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. And so when you was a child, when you first came to Christ, you had a limited range on what you could do, what you could understand, or even understand about who you were in him. That childhood understanding should be something that you've put behind you, as in you've grown from it and you've matured from it and you are moving forward. So I encourage you today and ask you to stop and take a survey of yourself. Do you see any changes, any growth in any parts of your life since you came to Christ? Doesn't matter how many years you've been. Because some people feel like, well, I've been saved 30, 40 years, so I've reached like the pinnacle. There is no pinnacle. Because as long as you're living, there's always something new to grow to. There's always something new to achieve. I've been saved now about 40 some odd years. However, I've not reached the pinnacle either. It's like levels. I grow here and then God said, okay, wonderful. Now grow here. Okay, wonderful. It's like going through from preschool to the next grade. You just keep graduating, so to speak, to another level. But there's now another expectation in you. I shared on Sunday, I said, as an adult, would an adult look strange to you if you saw them walking around with a baby bottle full of milk, drinking out of it? You would think something was off if you did. You would think to yourself, this is very inappropriate. This is not the appropriate place that you should be, or the appropriate way that you should be handling yourself as an adult. Same thing spiritually. We should not be still drinking milk like we're brand new if we've been walking with God sometimes. So when I was a child, but it's time to grow up. God bless.